Hello everyone, welcome back to KDP A to Z. In my last video, I showed you how you can get hold of this completely free spreadsheet, which has got over 500 unique niche ideas. And you can use this as inspiration when deciding on what topic to start creating and publishing books on Amazon self-publishing platform, KDP. Now, in that video, I also told you how easy it is to create any of these books. And I did promise you that I'd take you one of the topics and demonstrate how you can easily create a book based on one of those niche ideas. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. If this sounds like something that you'd like to do yourself, then do hit the subscribe button on this channel. And incidentally, if you'd like to get your free copy of this spreadsheet, then I'll leave the link in the description of this video. That link will take you to my Gumroad store where I've got loads of free products that you can just download, and most importantly, where you can get hold of this spreadsheet. So first of all, let's take one of these many topics. Now, honestly, the way that I'm going to show you how that you could do this can pretty much be done for any of those niches in this spreadsheet. All it takes is a small amount of effort, some imagination, and approximately an hour. The niche that I'm going to choose is this one, Letters to Future Generations. So, the first thing that you want to do, if you haven't got it already, is get yourself a subscription to Creative Fabrica. This is one of the most useful websites that I use, and you can find so many resources on this website. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to first of all search for KDP interiors, and I'm going to go and look for one that I can edit myself. So, what I'm going to put in is just editable. And then down on the left-hand side, you can just select what you want out of the categories. So I'm just going to select KDP Interiors. So here it's coming up with loads of different things that you can edit completely for free in Canva. And you can just download it, change it about as much as you want, and publish it as your own. And this is completely legitimate. You can do this with anything. So I'm just going to have a little look through these. So you can basically select, say, here we've got an ADHD planner, wedding planners, weight loss planners. But the beauty is that you can take any of these topics that I've given you and you can amend your own workbook accordingly. Now, I've already had a little look through the entirety of these editable planners, and there isn't anything that's specifically for letters to the future generations or anything like, which is a good thing because that means it's more unique, less likely to be mass produced by other people. So, having a little look through these designs, this one particularly caught my eye because it's a bit different to the rest. So, I just clicked on this particular link and I've gone to have a look at this person's profile. So you can see that this person on Creative Fabrica has got loads of different unique sort of editable designs already in place. But a lot of them are focusing on prayer journals and things like that. But they are very nice. I do quite like them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these prayer journals and I'm going to change it. So I actually rather like this particular editable design. This one here is 6 by 9 inches, which is actually the size that I want to go for, but I will be amending the sizes slightly and I'll show you why later on. So I'm just going to have a quick look at this. So I'm going to go ahead and download this particular design. So you can see here that it says commercial usage allowed, which means that you can use it, but you do have to change it slightly. Now, if it said pod usage allowed, that would mean that you could take the thing as it is and just completely put it all onto KDP. But for commercial usage allowed, you do have to make some changes to it. So let's go ahead and open this file. And here you can see it's got a Canva link where you can press to edit it. Let's click on that. And this design is actually available in two different sizes. It's in 6 by 9 inches or in US letter size, which is, I think, 8.5 inches by 11. I want the 6 by 9, so I'm going to click on that. You go ahead and use the templates. And then this link has taken you to Canva. And here it is where you can amend any of the bits and pieces that you want to. And looking through this, you can see that it is actually quite a nice design and the sort of design that I'd like to make in colour. Now, to make a book in colour, you have to have a minimum of 72 pages, but most of those will be duplicated pages. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to remove some of the pages that I don't want to use because this has got a lot of pages in it, in this particular document, that I won't need. There's 80 pages in the entire document. And you can see that a lot of them are duplicated. Now I only want to work with certain designs, so I'm going to delete an awful lot of these. So having deleted some of those pages, I've left myself with approximately 12 pages left. And these have all got different elements that I like on them, which were repeating themselves before. So I've left my title page here. I've still left the table of contents because this has got a different design at the bottom. I'm leaving this in because I do want to keep that. And then I've gone for different pages that have got this different design elements. So I've got one down this side. I've got some flowers here at the bottom and the top. Then I've got some flowers down this side. Flowers at the top, but nothing at the bottom. And then I've got different arrangements. And I've done that on purpose because I want those sorts of designs. And these are designs that are going to repeat themselves throughout this book. Now, in deciding on how I was going to plan out this particular book, Letters to Future Generations, I went on to ChatGPT. Now, ChatGPT, if you've had your head in the box for the last year or so, is an artificial intelligence, and you are within your rights and you're perfectly allowed to brainstorm using artificial intelligence. It's something I do all the time. So I would recommend ChatGPT because it will help give you fresh ideas for your books. So I asked ChatGPT to give me a detailed description of at least 1,000 words for the plan of how a book should be for the keywords letters to future generations. And it's given me a really nice title, which I actually really quite like, Echoes Across Time. And then it's given me how it would lay out the book. So this is giving me different topics that people can write letters to future generations about. And this is part of the guide that I'm going to use for making the actual book. So going back onto the Canva document that you can edit, to edit this, it's very simple. So you select the section that you want, and I can basically change this writing on here. I can delete certain sections. I can move things around. So if I want this sparkly thing somewhere else, I can put that right in the middle of the page if I wanted to. Before I go ahead and change everything, I just want to make sure that I will be able to save all these elements. So at the moment, when I try to save it, to download it, it's saying that your design contains premium content. Now, that's one of the problematic things. So if you're not paying for the pro version of Canva, it won't allow you to use the premium content that somebody else has created. But it's quite easy to find the premium content. So here you can see it says remove watermarks. So I'm just going to delete that. So it's actually telling me what the premium images are that I need to remove. So you can see it's these butterflies, this watermark. So this is all stuff on the front page. So if I just delete this front page, now I can download it. So it's just stuff on the front page that was premium content that I couldn't use. So this means that I can now edit all of this, use all of this, and I won't have any problems downloading it later on. It's just something to watch out for. So I want to initially have a title page. And for that title page, I'm going to use something with this sort of flowery background all the way around. So I'm going to move that all the way up to the top. It's quite easy to move the pages up and down by pressing the arrows here. And in this title page, I'm just going to change this wording here to be the title of my book. So I can then amend this however I want it. So if I want to center this, I can just select it and press position, and I can center it like that. I can obviously change the font size however much I want to. We can change the font style. But the reason I chose this particular design was because I already liked the style of it. I liked the handwriting in it. So I'm not going to change this about too much. So there we go, a couple of seconds of work, and I've changed my title page. Now I'm going to have, instead of this book belongs to, I'm going to write these letters were written by. And there we go, page 2 is done. Next, I want to have the actual letters themselves. Now, to do this, I want to have lots of blank lines, and I'm going to have some inspirational thoughts at the top of each page. And those are all going to be different. So I'm going to take these lines that we already have. I'm going to make a sort of template. So first of all, I'm going to ungroup the whole lot. Then I'm going to select these lines individually. And I'm going to select one and then press Shift on my keyboard to select the others. And then I'm going to press Control C on my keyboard, and that will copy all of those. If I press Control V on my keyboard, it's come up with a duplicate. So I'm going to use that to create a good template. Let me just delete all this rubbish out of the way that I don't want. So you can see my lined pages are starting to take some shape now. I'm just going to copy that again by pressing Control V. Just sort of moving this up into the right position. And you can see that I'm starting to get some nice blank lined pages. And then this bit here will be what I asked the person to talk about in their letters. So what I'm now going to do is I'm going to select all of this. So the easiest way to do it is just to grab a little bit of what you want. You can see now it's just selected those blank lines. And I'm going to click on those three dots and press group. So that's now all grouped together. So if I want to move it around or copy it, they'll all go together and I won't move any lines differently to each other. They're all where I want them to be. So now I'm going to go ahead and copy this lined stuff onto the other blank templates. So now I'm going to play around with this a little bit. I'm going to remove parts. I'm going to put more of these lined pages in, and I'm going to have different inspiration at the top of each page. So I've changed all the wording across this document. I've changed fonts and I've made the layout look how I want it to look. On here, I've got lots of different things that people can write to future generations about. I found these topics by just going onto ChatGPT and then brainstorming topics that people might like to write to future generations about. It was quite easy. You can just search that sort of thing on ChatGPT. But I can't just go and download this as a PDF now because I have a little bit of a problem here. So you see all these pictures in the corners of these pages. That will affect the document setup. So I'm going to have these pages with bleed so that I can have these pictures right up to the edge. So when you're setting up a document that you need to have bleed, and I have done a video on this if you want to have a look, but when you want to have bleed with your document, your page actually needs to be larger and then it will trim the edges down a little bit. So you actually need to have 1/8 of an inch on the top, side and bottom. So that means you have to have 1/4 of an inch higher document and 1/8 of an inch wider document. Now, if you had Canva Pro, which I don't have unfortunately, but if you do have it, you could just change the size by going onto Magic Switch and then you'd be able to resize your document. So that means I need to save all these files as PNG, put them in a slightly bigger size document and spread out the pages. So I'm going to do that now. So I'm just going to share this. I'm going to download them all as PNG files. So I'm just going to press download. And now I'm going to go ahead and create a new design. I'm going to have it custom size. So the width, remember, I need it to be 1/8 of an inch bigger. So I need it to be 6.125 inches, 9.25 in height. And now I need to upload those PNG files. So now that I've uploaded them, I just need to put them into the page and I need to just get them to the edges of the page. Like so. Okay, so I've resized all of those pages into a 6.125 by 9.25 inch page document. It probably took about 10 to 15 minutes to do that. So it's one of the things I would recommend getting Canva Pro for because that will allow you to magically resize. And I've got it set up so that each question is on the page that faces you on the right hand side, and then they can turn over and just write on the back as well. I've got the document to be 74 pages. Remember, the minimum for printing in colour is 72 pages. So now I'm just going to share this and I'm going to save this, download it as a PDF. Now, another reason that you could get Canva Pro if you wanted to pay for that would be that so that you can download it as CMYK colours, but I can't do that with my free setting. So I've just downloaded it as an RGB PDF. Now, the next thing I need to do is make the front cover. So the first thing that you need to do when you're making your book cover is obviously to work out what size it's going to be. So you just go onto your normal KDP page and click on Tools and Resources and search for Cover Calculator. Scrolling down here, you want to click on Create a Paperback Cover. Scrolling down this page, all you need to do is click on Cover Calculator and Template Generator. So we're going for a paperback cover. The interior, I'm actually going to go with premium colour. Page type will be white paper, always left to right turn direction, and then the size is going to be in inches and it's going to be a 6x9. And remember, my page count there was 74 pages. So this is going to calculate the dimensions for me. So the size of the actual cover is going to be 12.424 inches in width and 9.25 in height. And then we go along to Canva and we're going to custom size a document. Remember, we want it set in inches, and we're just going to pop in these dimensions. So it's 12.424 by 9.25. So create new design. So this is the exact right size of the book cover that we want. The other thing that KDP do is that they actually have a template for you, and this will show you where all your margins and your cut lines are going to be. So I'm just going to upload into Canva the actual template that we've just downloaded from KDP, and we'll just pop this into place on our actual documents. And you can see these red areas. This is where you don't want the writing. This is where the barcode will go. So I want to make a cover that's very similar to the structure of my book because I want this sort of watercolor design on the front. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to look on Creative Fabrica. And remember, this is where I got the editable template for the book from Nan Digital Arts. I'm just going to look through and see if they've got anything similar that I can use. So remember, this was the version that I used, but this didn't come with an editable cover. This one looks very similar, this Faithful Reflections book. So what I'm just going to do is I'm going to download this. I'm going to go ahead and click on the link that it's given me. So what I want to do is steal that background because that's the bit that I want. So I'm just going to delete these other bits. So you can see now I've just got the actual plain background that's very similar to the structure of my old book. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to download that as a PNG file, just that particular page. There are, of course, lots of other ways that you could find a background for your book cover. Creative Fabrica has absolutely hundreds. So if I've just typed in here watercolor background, and you can see it's given me loads. So I've got this PNG and I'm just going to drag this so that it covers the entirety of the book that I want. There we go. So this you can see is a nice background. And now all I have to do is just put the wording on that I want it to be. I could also go in and use some of these particular pretty floral aspects that it's got as well. So I'm just going to copy those and popping them into place on my book cover. Then I'm just going to go ahead and add my text box. So it's echoes across time, letters to future generations. I'm going to change the font. So this is my title. I've decided to go with a slightly different font on the front. Now I just want to make sure that this is centralized. So what I'm going to do, this background here, you can make this more transparent. So if I change the transparency, I can see the background template that I want to make sure that it's all within the right line. So I'm just going to make sure that this is in the correct place. So I've carefully laid out my page now so that the borders match with the areas that I want them to fit. So I know that they won't be going over the edges where they shouldn't be. I know I haven't covered this barcode. I know that this is central on the page. So now I've done all that, I can increase the transparency again on the background. You can see that this looks like a nice sort of cover for this book. Now, I will say I'm not a professional designer at all. I am just showing you the very basics, but you can change colours. I can also go ahead and look at the elements section of Canva and add certain elements that I want. So I've just typed in frame. It gave me the suggestion of aesthetic frame. So I could add little embellishments however I like. And honestly, you could play around with this for absolutely hours if you wanted to, but I'm trying to show you how to do it in an hour. So I'm going to stop faffing around and I'm going to just download this again. Remember, you've got to download it as a PDF file this time because this is the actual front cover that you're putting on your book. Or you can also find editable front covers on Creative Fabrica as well. I'm looking on Creative Fabrica for an editable cover. You can see how many things there are. I've also done videos in the past of how to do a book cover, but you can see on Creative Fabrica, there's loads of different options for you. So here we've got 20 editable KDP covers. You could just take and use that. So now I've got the book and I've got the front cover and I'm going to go and upload this onto KDP. So you just need to go on to create. So I'm going to fill in all the details, the book title, the subtitle, who the author is, and then I'm just putting in a description here. You should write this yourself unless you want to say that you've got AI description. You need to tick that you own the copyright. There's no sexually explicit images. And then I've just gone ahead and put the categories in. You're allowed to choose 3 different categories now. It might be worth looking at what the lower competition categories are, because then you're more likely to get a bestseller, but put them in the relevant categories. You can always change them around later. Then you've got your keywords. Now, the way I found my keywords for this one was I went onto ChatGPT. I used my ChatGPT prompt that I gave you a little while ago on Gumroad. So it gave me some good suggestions with higher search volumes and lower competition scores. And I just picked out some of those keywords and put them in. So going on to the next stage, you've got to click to assign you a free number. So you want to click on this and press the yellow button, otherwise it won't let you go forward. I'm going with standard colour interior with white paper. My trim size was 6 by 9 inches and I want it with bleed. Now I'm just going to go ahead and upload my document. And now I'll just go and upload the front cover. And then you just click on Launch Previewer. And so here we go. This is what the book will look like. So you can see that it's got no quality check problems. And I just need to look through it and make sure it looks all okay. Happy with how it is. It looks centralized. We've got the barcode in the right place. I'm just going to flick through the book. So this is going to be the first page. And you can see this is exactly how I've envisaged the book to be. Looks great. Each letter is just going to be one leaf. So really they could just cut this bit out if they wanted to. So it's on one side and then carries on onto the other. Really happy with this book. And honestly, it didn't take me very long to make. So now I'm just going to approve that. Telling me my printing cost is going to be £2.33 per book. So moving on to stage 3. So the minimum price that I can set it at is £3.88. I'm going to set it at £6.99. And that will give me a royalty per book of £1.86. I think the price range for this, pretty much anywhere from £5.99 to £9.99, is a good price range. It's the kind of book that would be a gift for somebody, the kind of Secret Santa's kind of book. It's going to tick expanded distribution. Yeah, I'm happy with that kind of margin if that makes any sales. So publish your paperback book. There we go. Paperback's been submitted. There was no errors in that at all. Hope you found this video useful. Any links that I've used in this video is going to be saved in the description. If you have found it useful, please do remember to hit the subscribe button. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.